Going on, guys? It's Dylan, and I'm back again with another TV review. And today I want to talk about The Mandalorian Season 1, Episode 3. Now, I tried to get this review out yesterday, but I couldn't get it out in time, and I had to completely redo it once again like I had to do last week's. So, I'm going to start off exactly where we left off. This episode starts exactly where we left off in Episode 2 with, him finally getting off that planet that he was stranded on after the Jawas had, scrapped his ship. And, look at it, he wants to make a full cameo today, Bane. Look at him. And, basically, he gets, passage from, Grief Tarkin, I want to say, Apollo Creed. And, he comes back. He drops the package off. He even says to him, the Mando asks Grief Tarkin, like, what do they plan to do with the kid? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, they could be wanting to eat him. They could be stuffing his head on the wall. They're like, they could be mounting his head on the wall. I have no clue. And basically, he gets back, and you could tell, like, the Mandalorian, like, there's a guild like contract or a rule where you just don't ask questions. And he breaks that rule kind of when he goes and drops off the baby. He asks the client what they're gonna be using him for. And he even said, he brings that up. He's like, that's not part of the rules. He's like, you're not supposed to ask any questions. And basically, man, there's just something deep down you can tell that he can't really live with just handing this baby off to everybody, or handing him off to, like, the Empire technically. And we get another Chapter 3 title card, and this one is called The Sin. And basically we get once he drops it off, he gets a huge amount of Beskar. He takes it, and he takes it back to the armory where, like, the Mandalorians, that you kind of find out that they've been kind of hiding out, and only one Mandalorian is allowed to come out one at a time, because they're really trying to survive. Basically, though, once the Mandalorian he receives his reward for taking the baby, and he even ends up asking the client. He's like, how many of those like trackers did you send out? And the guy kind of in a pissy attitude, he's like, this package was really important to me, and I had to make sure that it was delivered and somebody found it. And it's a good thing that I hired you, because you came back pretty quick with it. And no one else came back. No one else survived, which if they it's probably because they ran into him. But he goes and drops the kid off. He goes and then talks with he goes to his armory, and you end up finding out that the Mandos that you kind of seen down in the cave when he got his Beskar shoulder plate. Now he goes back in with a big freaking bucket of Beskar, and he decides his chest plate is all messed up from fighting the Mudhorn, and he decides he's gonna literally deck himself out. And the woman who's like the armory woman, she even says, this is going to bring a little heat to you because you're going to be looking real flashy. And it even kind of brings a little heatness between the Mandos for a second. And this one big artillery Mandalorian comes in, and him and Mandalorian kind of have a fight back and forth, talking about the Beskar. Like, this was from, like, the Empire, and the reason that we're underground hiding and that only one of us can come out at a time is because of the Empire. But, the Mandalorian, he makes himself some armor out of that, but he puts a good portion of all that to the what do they call it? The fondlings, I want to say. I was going to say the childlings, but it's the fondlings, I want to believe. So it's like the upcoming generation of the Mandos. And that seems to be a pretty important thing to him, especially since what happened to him when he's a kid. Because the last 2 times he's went to the armory and had something created, and he sees like these flashbangs and stuff. He gets flashbacks of when he was a child, and when his parents were killed and taken from him, and he was left to be basically a foster kid. And after that, he they end up, him and the Mandalorian, they end up, they kind of like Nick Nolte's character had the I have spoken. Now you kind of get a code word from the Mandalorian, or like they're saying basically, and they go, "This is the way," and because like I said, the artillery got Mandalorian, and then the regular Mandalorian were kind of fighting, and the armory chick is like, "Yo, like this isn't like this is how it is, this is the way of life." So, and then she even asked, like, "Has your helmet ever been removed?" And he's like, "No, it's never been removed by anybody or by myself." So he's had that helmet on as long as he's been a Mandalorian. That's pretty crazy. Next he gets all decked out on his armor, and the first reveal you get is him walking into Grief Tarkin's bar to pick up another bounty. And he ends up asking, he's like, "So how many of these people in here had that tracker to, get the kid or whatever too?" He's like, "Everybody in here, man, and they're all jealous as hell. But you know what? I'm not. I'm happy for you because I'm rich too." And basically, he's kind of got a target on his back. He's got all this. He's got the Beskar armor. He's decked out, and they know that he just, he got the job of all jobs. But something just is not sitting right with him. He even ends up asking Grief Tarkin, like, "Do you know what they're gonna do with him?" And he's like, "I didn't ask. That's that's the guild's code, where you don't ask questions like that." And basically, he goes around snooping around back where he dropped the kid off, and he sees like the crib thrown in the trash, and then he goes and takes his gun, his big like sniper rifle almost, and he's able to kind of hook his link up somehow, and he's able to see listen from like a distance. He's able to listen through the building, and he finds out that somebody's coming for the kid or something possibly, and that the client can't protect the doctor on that you might want to say he's like an Arabic, the one that's working with the client. And he even says, he's like, "I can't protect you no longer." So he's like, "Do what you have to do, extract the remedies from the child, because I can't promise that I can protect you any longer." And the Mandalorian, he ends up swooping in, taking all those guys out, taking a shit ton of stormtroopers out. It was like really cool to see. It's a lot of fun to see the Mandalorian just do all this hand-to-hand combat. It's like a Western in a way. After that, we get, so after he retrieves the baby, he almost kills that doctor guy. He leaves him alive though, because he begs for his life. But you never see the client, the white guy. So he obviously bounced. He bounced early because he knew something was coming, and that's probably why he's like, "I'm leaving, so I can't promise protection." So the beeper starts going off again, like the tracker that all the bounty hunters got, and the first one to see it is Grief Tarkin, and he basically, as the Mandalorian's planning his escape to his ship and to bounce, he gets literally surrounded by all the bounty hunters, and you start seeing all the bounty hunters in the bar getting like getting beeps from their bounty card or whatever they call it, and you just know, you're like, "Oh my god, it's about to be some John Wick scenario where every assassin bounty hunter is coming after the Mandalorian." And that's what happens, and he gets cornered, and basically bunch of shit goes down, and it is just so cool, so fun. I highly recommend this if you're any type of Star Wars fan. It's almost looking like he's not gonna make it out, that they're gonna retrieve the baby back, and that this might have all been for nothing. And what do you know it? One of the artillery mandos that the Mandalorian was fighting with earlier, him and all the other Mandalorians, they come and help save their buddy. And they even say, "This is the way, we have," I believe he says, like, they have each other's backs. You kind of get the point that the Mandalorian is almost like a dying race in a way, and that they have to stay underground, that they have to stay quiet, that the Empire is gone, just the galaxy is not what it used to be, and they've gone into hiding. And it is just an awesome reveal when you see all of these all these Mandalorian bounty hunters, a bunch with jetpacks. It just brings you back to that old Jango Fett, Boba Fett days when he's, uh, jumping around in the jetpack and shooting people. It was just so much fun. And you got an army of Mandalorians taking all these these assassins out. It was really cool. Grief Tarkin don't give up so easily though, and the Mandalorian, he doesn't kill him. He leaves him alive, but he definitely could have killed him. And I was surprised that he didn't, because it's like, I don't think this guy's gonna let it go next time he sees you, especially because this is who he was receiving all his bounties from, and that's how he was making his money. But man, it was a great episode. A big thing was Baby Yoda was like playing with this ball, screwed off this ball from this mechanics on his ship, and at first the Mandalorian was like, that's not a toy, in episode 2 or in the beginning of episode 3. And then later, after he drops the baby off and he's about to leave with his ship to go on his bounty, he sees the ball, and it gives him a reminder of the baby, and probably just a reminder of how innocent this child is, and that he doesn't deserve to just be handed off to be experimented on. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? You can tell that like his history and his childhood has an effect on why he's doing what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee it. It was a great episode. I really enjoyed it. I actually think that episode 3 got rated better than the first 2 episodes. So it just seems to keep getting better and better. And it just a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. But yeah, that's about it for this. I'm probably going to wrap it up. But if you guys don't mind hitting that like button on your way out, hitting the subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.